Hello, and welcome to Ghoulish. I am Max Booth, a host, and today we're talking about live readings, not dead readings, live readings. And joining me today on this special episode is none other than Josh Malerman, author of books like Bird Box and Inspection. We're going to be talking about all types of things. Actually, no, I'm lying. Just one thing. Live readings. If you came to listen to any other topic, you've chosen the wrong podcast. So, I recall seeing lots of photos when the original novel came out, Build Box, of you doing live readings and the audience was blindfolded. Please talk to me about this and tell me what was going on.
Yeah, okay. So when the book first came out, HarperCollins, they asked if I would do this thing. I can't remember what it was called, but the idea was any author they had that had even like a modicum of musical ability, they asked if you would like play your instrument while you read, pretty much. So in other words, they were asking if I would strum like an A minor and read a scene from Bird Box. And I was like, that kind of sounds cool actually, but let me get with my bandmates and maybe we'll do something a little more involved. And we did. We did like a whole scary soundtrack. We got a violin player. We made pretty much like an audio like a radio drama of a scene from Bird Box. Months later, HarperCollins is like, hey, now you go on the road, to these bookstores, blah blah, to do readings. And I was like, wait, what are these readings? Like, what do you mean? I just get up at a podium and read? And this idea was like really scary to me at first, right?
Yeah. And
like in a stage fright way, I'm like, this isn't like I don't have my awesome like drummer and bass player to like fucking hide behind. You know what I mean? Like if I'm having a weird night, like this it just scared me. And I know that you do theatrical readings too, but I know that other dudes and girls just they get up and they do it. Okay, great. But for some reason that really scared me back then. Not anymore. So I was like, Alison, what do we do? And then I started thinking about that dramatization we did, and I was like, wait, why don't we just do that same thing? And then, pretty much like the luckiest thing in the world that all the characters in Bird Box were blindfolded, because I was like, oh, well, we'll blindfold the audience, and then it will be a radio drama of us just playing. And honest to God, Max, it started as like I was like stage fright. Like what else can I do other than stand there? That's what bred this thing. So some of those first readings ended up being just Alison and I driving around. Most of them had more people involved, like sound effects and the band and other characters. But most of them, or some of them, were just Alison and I. We'd pull up with like a suitcase full of blindfolds. I had an organ in the car. This is like 2014, Yeah. I had an organ in the car. I would play scary music. The only one I ever did alone, well, now I've done two because I did one at Scares That Care, but the only one I had previously ever done alone, I drove 2.5 hours north in Michigan. And I show up at this library. Again, I got a suitcase full of blindfolds. I got this organ that makes these weird sounds. And I went inside, man, and the only people there were like, it was like a book club of like 11 80-year-olds.
How did that go?
Inside, and I was like, oh no, I don't know what to do, and I'm alone. And so I was like, so this is what I normally do. I usually, I unzip like the suitcase. I usually blindfold the audience, and they were all like, oh, just do what you normally do. And I was like, okay. So I blindfolded this group of 80-year-olds, played for them, read, and when I was done, they were like, that was like an old radio show. And I was like, oh my God, you guys were fucking perfect for this.
Yeah, they will around.
Right. So that was the birth of the theatrical readings we do. Now, I mean, you can ask the next question. I have to talk for 30 minutes about what we've done, but now they're way more involved. Costumes and props and settings and pre-recorded music and sometimes pre-recorded dialogue and all sorts of stuff now.
Yeah, we're going to take it book by book. Did you get anyone who refused to put on the blindfold?
Yeah, there's a photo of and it happened more than once, obviously, but there's a photo of that first reading we ever did. Mm-hmm. It's the night Bird Box came out, and this awesome local photographer got this photo like kind of over my shoulder, so I'm playing the organ and reading, and there's this room full of blindfolded people, and there's all these black balloons in the room, and there's one woman in the whole audience, just one woman looking back without wearing a blindfold, and she's sort of the most like striking thing in the photo because of that, you know?
Yeah, and that woman was Sandra Bullock.
And that woman was Sandra Bullock. She was like, I'm in.
If that's all it took, man. Did you have any ideas that you had to reject because it was too ridiculous?
Yeah, you mean for the Bird Box one?
Yeah.
Because we're going that way. No, there were moments where I wanted to turn it more into like the haunted house thing from elementary school, where you're putting people's hands in like brains and bags, and they're feeling grapes and it's eyeball. They think they're feeling eyeballs and it's grapes.
Oh man, I did one of those last year, not to do a reading, but just like to celebrate Halloween. It was the funnest thing I've ever done, just creating those brains and guts.
Yeah. I wanted to do that too, and I was worried though. I realized like, okay, this is awesome, but I think that the reading as it stands is actually kind of scary, or it can be if somebody wants it to be, right?
Yeah.
I mean, you're blindfolded in a bookstore or a library, and some dude from out of town is reading a story. You don't know what's going to happen. And Alison screams out in this really wonderfully like blood curdling way. So I got worried that doing something like that would make it like too funny or something. So that just little stuff like that I like. I was like, we want to keep this like severe.
Yeah. Plus, if they have like spaghetti on their hands, no one's going to be buying books.
That's right, man.
So, what was the next book? The
Blackmail.
It wasn't in the house.
Oh no, House of Bottom Lake did come. That's
yes.
Okay. Odd that you asked that, because that is the one book we have not done a reading for, but there Del Rey picked the book up.
Oh, okay.
And it's going to be released wider, as well as Goblin and On This the Day of the Pig.
Hell yeah.
We haven't done a reading for Pig either. So anyway, and we're going to do one for House of the Bottom Lake. Now here's a strange thing. This is no joke. There's a guy, like a couple, that owns a indie bookstore in the Detroit area.
Yeah.
And they've owned it for like 30 or 40 years. They started in like the wife's parents' basement, that kind of thing. Okay. The husband, who sells at each of our theatrical readings, he sells Bird Box, Blackmail, Wheel, all the books. He has this show he does where he kind of puts this like plexiglass thing in front of the audience, and then everything beyond that is sort of like it would be like you're looking in on a fish tank. So it's like a fake underwater scene, right?
Yeah.
And it's like fake water going by with like mermaid costumes and like rocks and stuff on the other side. So I'm going to ask him to help us with that reading. Like, hey, whatever you do for this, we want to do this for a House at the Bottom Lake. So I'm going to reach out to that dude for when we do that. Well, we haven't done that one yet. So the next one after that, though, was Black Mad Wheel.
Right. Now, before we move on to that one, I was also thinking, you've seen like how they've been doing new showings of the movie Jaws, right? Like on a lake, and you have to sit on a boat with inflatable tubes.
Yeah.
You could probably do something with the reading that way too.
Yeah, well, that is a good idea. Yeah, why not? And do it like in the summer and do it in that setting. Yeah, why not?
Yeah, I mean, also, I guess you could just have the audience hold their breath and just go into a lake. I mean,
for ladies and gentlemen, it's be 27 minutes.
Yeah, I mean, someone might die, so I mean, you need to have them sign like contracts, but it could get you good publicity, definitely.
Yeah. The horror author kills entire audience.
Do you know how many copies of that book you would sell?
Oh yeah, no, that like forever.
Yeah.
But I am going to consider something like that now. My mom actually lives on a lake, and not, but it's a little bit further out of town though. It's like 40 minutes from here. But I'm going to consider that because I like that idea. Yeah, I do.
Let's move on to the next one.
Well, so then now we couldn't blindfold the audience, right? So all of a sudden now it mattered what we were wearing and how things looked, and because that's one of the beauties of the Bird Box reading is that you could like be making faces at each other and reading this scary scene. You know, it's like who cares how you're dressed? You could be wearing shorts, you know, and with sandals and acoustic, like it doesn't even matter, right? You're like the happiest little hippie in the world, and no one will even know. But with Blackmail, all of a sudden it mattered. So I went and got, you know, like military clothing, helmets. We dressed up a mannequin as like a soldier. We had a friend that was in sort of like a goat, you know, demon goat costume. Alison played Nurse Ellen, and she actually, we borrowed from a friend a cot, and then Alison set up this sheet where behind it she could do sort of, I guess, shadow acting, where she would put on the helmet and have like a fake gun or whatever, and it would look like she, you know, while I was reading about like a scene of Philip in the desert, she would be walking behind the sheet, that kind of thing. So Blackmail Wheel, which was mostly just Alison and I, almost every reading, was like so much more involved in Bird Box. When we showed up at like bookstores in Ann Arbor and other places around here, it was like we had to load in, you know, it took like an hour to set up, you know?
God. Yeah.
Yeah. And like with Bird Box, again, we had a suitcase of blindfolds, right? So yeah, this one got more intense. I had a friend of mine in town pre-record like narration from the book, because while he was talking on the tape, Alison and I would like strike one set and put up another one, that kind of thing. So that became Blackmail Wheel was like it was kind of like pushing the limit a little bit of like, if we do any more than we do right now, we have to get more people.
I mean, I would think you would be used to all this setup and preparation just from doing the high strung so long.
Yep. Yeah, no, it is. It was super similar. You walk in, but instead of a drum set, we brought in like a cot and a typewriter. And yeah, it was like the same thing. And you wanted to like sound check. Again, with Bird Box, you just turn a mic on, you know?
Yeah.
It's funny in a weird way. The Bird Box reading seems so lo-fi and innocent to me now, but it's also probably, I wouldn't say the most effective, but it's easily as effective as the other ones, because the whole nature of it is, you know, you can't look, right?
Yeah.
So there's no need for any fucking props or setting or wardrobe at all. So Blackmail Wheel, though, was like a major step up for us. Okay,
what did you do with the Westone that came next, right?
Oh, I think Goblin came before it.
Oh, shit. Okay, so let's go with Goblin.
And then Goblin was awesome because, so Goblin's made up of 6 novellas.
Right.
We did 3 or 4 stories from it. And we had like backdrops and like really somewhat extreme costumes, actually. Alison played my favorite character in the book was this guy, Walter Camp. Alison played him, and Camp sleeps on this plexiglass bed because he doesn't want any places for anything to hide in his apartment. He's like totally paranoid, so he even sleeps on like a plexiglass bed, right?
Yeah.
And Alison built that, and so that was like there, and all these like lights, and I played the guy that like the town gardener. But one of the real big differences of Goblin is that we got this dude Steve Green, who's like put out like synth album after synth album. We got him to like do like a live score of it.
Wow.
And so Goblin was a step up in terms of like, now it's not just Alison and me primarily. Now there's a whole group of us. This is when we started what we call Wow Town. The whole crew was like helping set up, and they played characters. And this guy Steve Green did all the live music. So Goblin was again another step up. The only thing with Goblin though was we only did one reading. That's it. We only did one. That was the only time that we only did it. So
well, that would make sense because it wasn't widely released.
Yeah, it was like right. It was like even the reading was limited edition.
Yeah. Are you gonna bring it back when who was it? Del Rey.
Yep.
Yeah. Are you gonna bring the reading back?
Yep. And then Alison still has that bed. And dude, did you read Goblin?
Yeah, I did. Yeah.
Okay. Camp, the dude that's afraid of ghosts and everything.
Yeah, the guy who's afraid of being skilled to death.
Yep, that dude. So Allison, she had been like working on his mask and body and all this stuff, but I hadn't seen it at all. And Allison has a tendency to sort of live in the nick of time, and we're like setting up for this show, and I don't see her, and I don't know what this costume looks like. I have no idea. We set up the bed, and as I'm like about to talk to the audience, I see backstage. I saw her pass by the door dressed as him, full costume, body, face, hair, pajama outfit, everything. And it was so awesome, dude. It was like I saw Walter Camp like a flash of him backstage or something. Because I'd never seen that costume before. It was kind of a sweet moment for like the dude who wrote the book, you know?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Has it gotten to the point when you write a book, you already begin thinking about how you might do a live reading as you write it?
Yeah, a little bit. Like with Mallory, I'm already I've got some like ideas. I was talking to the members of Wowtown the other day, Cindy. I was talking to her about. It's like, hey, I think for Mallory we should do this and that. So yeah, I'm definitely already thinking that stuff.
Excellent. Okay, let's move on to the Westone. I think it's next.
Yep, Unburied Carol, and
Yes.
this was a step up because this one was like a meta reading. In other words, I played myself. I get on stage after Alison, Alison's in a band called Ohio Wild, and the two of them played a song they wrote for the book called Howltown. And then I came on stage and was using a typewriter and pretty much saying to the audience, like, I got to write something. What am I going to write? And then I would say, I want to write this. And it would be some weird idea, and the friends would act it out. Oh, no, I don't want to do that. How about this? No, I don't want to do that. How about this? And then it'd be like, ooh, what about a Western? And then Unburied Carol built from there. And so I would then get up from the typewriter and I would play the soundtrack music. Christy would narrate, and everyone else in Wowtown played, Moxie and Carol, and Alison played Rot and made this awesome face shifting like mask, like this mask with 5 different faces, where if she just kind of rolls her head around a little, it looks like his face is changing,
That's not terrifying at all.
Yeah. So cool, man. And then,
oh my God.
So that was a major step up. And we did that one. Goblin was in a library. Blackmail Wheel was at a bar.
Mm-hmm.
But this one, we rented out like the music room at this local bar. It just felt like there was something professional about Unburied Carol, and the room was sold out, and it was just kind of like, it was obvious to us that like we had come pretty far from like Blackmail Wheel and Bird Box at that point.
Oh man, that sounds so good. I'm so jealous that like I haven't been able to see one of these.
Maybe
yeah.
Mallory. But then the joy of Mallory is I can blindfold everyone again.
When are you gonna do a book where you have to gag somebody? Can you imagine like doing readings for Stephen King's Gerald's Game? You just fucking tie everybody to a bed. Oh my God.
That sounds incredible. Can I get a volunteer?
I was reading an interview a while back about that novel, and when he was writing it, he took Joe, his son. He was just a kid at the time, and he said, "Hey, I need to tie you to this bed. Mom's not home, so no one's gonna stop us." So he tied him to the bed. He's like, "Okay, can you escape?"
All right, show me. Can you reach this glass of water? Here, I'm gonna put it on this shelf. It's going to be just out of reach. What do you do to get this? How old was Joe when he did that? Do you know?
I don't. I could guess like 8, 9,
12,
maybe. Yeah.
10. Yeah.
He was 2 months old.
Now, can you escape?
You dumb baby. Did Pig come next?
Yeah, but that one we also didn't do a reading for, and I don't remember. There was a reason for that one though. Like, the Bird Box stuff was heating up. The movie side, like I was swamped during that, and I don't remember why.
Yeah.
But it was also, we had, and again, Del Rey picked Pig up, so we do have the chance to actually do a real reading. And I think Alison was talking about making a giant sort of animatronic like pig head that maybe either like it's so big that the performance happens within its mouth, or Like it's just like it'd be like Oz in a way.
Yeah.
And then the characters are, performing in front of it or something. I love that idea.
That's so cool, dude. I gotta get Alison on in a future episode to talk about all this cool shit she can do because it's amazing.
Oh dude, that would be amazing. No, it really is incredible. Like I didn't, when her and I met, I didn't have a book deal. I knew how, I discovered immediately what a great artist she was. I don't think either of us like foresaw anything like this. And again, if I didn't have the stage fright I had about Bird Box, you and I wouldn't even be talking about this shit. I would just be like, oh yes, I pick my story and I go and I read it, and like that's not
Yeah.
And so, but having her with me, like Alison will do anything. Like so, Nurse Ellen in Blackmail, I'm like, hey, there's that scene where she just like dances alone. What if we just play? Whoops, there's a puppy in this office. What if we just play this music, Alison, and you just like dance with yourself? Like, okay, like I there's some things I would probably do in front of the audience. I don't know if I would slow dance with myself and be able to pull that off. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Full of strangers. But she's like, okay, yeah, I'll do that. I'll dance alone, and then I'll do this, and then we'll take the tarp down, and then you're like, wow, you're fucking awesome to work with. So Pig, I imagine that she wants to do some sort of animatronic or some big set design for that one.
That would be awesome. I hope one day you do like a filming of one of these things, because I know everybody would love to see these who can't make these readings.
Okay, so that I don't know if you saw it, but this awesome dude in town, his name's Scott Allen.
The documentary?
Yeah. So at the end of that thing, I talked to him. I'm like, would you guys can we do a controlled environment like reading where you guys like film it? And the one we were going to do was Goblin. I'm kind of glad we didn't do it at the time. I love the Goblin reading, but I think I'd rather do Inspection now that I've seen how it's grown, right?
Yeah.
Or Unbury Carol. Probably Inspection. So then
okay. So let's move on to Inspection. What have you done with this one?
Okay. So in this one, the major change, because now you have the whole troupe again. You have live music. You have Alison made all like the Alphabet Boy heads. Well, not all of them. She made 4 of them, and they're like the stars of the show. I'm at a podium like Richard, like DAD. But this one, the big difference was the setting. So we did it in the Masonic Temple, the chapel of the Masonic Temple in Detroit. And we had to spend money to rent that room out. Like this wasn't like the bar. Now it was like, we don't want just a room. We want the room that this story would have actually taken place in. And that shit is exciting. Because we walked into, we didn't have to do much, set design. You know what I mean?
Right.
We had the most, stunning room in Detroit. This huge, vaulted, cathedral with all these, pews and, chairs and all this, and this podium for me to read from and microphones. I mean, it was just all set up for us. Did you see photos of the Inspection reading?
I did not, no.
You did? Okay, I'll send you one after this.
Okay.
And it's spectacular. And so... But the reading itself is no different than Blackmail or Unbury Carol or whatever in terms of length or depth or the number of people involved. But the setting was extraordinary, and so that's why I say if we do it with Scott Allen, I think I would want to do that one and do it there, film it there.
I hope that happens. That sounds fucking amazing.
Yeah.
Oh man. What Okay, now that we've gone through them all, can you speak of any little rejected ideas that you might have had that just seemed impossible or illogical to do?
Well, there were certain scenes, if there's a scene that maybe has too much action, that could be now we're starting to talk oh shit, now we gotta because with the Alphabet Boys walking through an orchard, right, and you have a narrator, they can literally just walk and interact with each other a little bit the entire scene. But if the scene was, say the duel in Unbury Carol or something, well, now we have to orchestrate some action. And I think, and I know that everyone else in the group, Alison included, wants to up the ante on that side of things. And there is one danger though, okay, how do I explain this? The minute the actors in Wowtown start memorizing the lines, Then we have crossed from a book reading to theater, 100%. Like now we're putting on a play. And I think I like that it still qualifies as a reading as it is right now.
That
And I
makes
think
sense.
yeah, and I think that if we lean a little in action's fine, obviously that makes the cut or whatever, that makes the grade, the definition, but at the same time I can feel us like leaning like I don't want to like write the script for Unbury Carol as a play. I want us to like do the reading.
Yeah. Have you thought about actually writing a play just to do on stage?
Oh yeah. So we have ideas. What I really like, the ultimate fantasy, and this is hopefully where this is all leading. The ultimate fantasy is that I buy a theater in the area, and that the front like lobby area of the theater would be like a straight horror bookstore.
Yeah.
And I don't give a shit about making money there at all. I'd like to maybe break even or something, but so maybe I'll just hire someone to, or maybe I'll write my books there and just have the coolest, like I have 10,000 horror novels, it seems like. All right, let's put a bunch in the lobby of this theater. And then when you go through the lobby, inside there's a stage where maybe bands play and that kind of thing, but ultimately I want it to be like Grand Guignol, like horror theater.
Hell
And
yeah.
so I wrote I wrote one play that I want for it already. And then there's two more ideas. I have one I really love called Interrogation of an Empty Chair, in which a detective interviews like an entity,
Yeah.
right? There's a woman, like a medium in the room, who claims to be able to understand what the entity is saying. So this detective is like raging out, like, where is she, to this like empty chair, and this thing is like,
Yeah.
we do like 10 minutes and whatever, and the woman, I'm not going to repeat what it said. It's too terrible, something like that.
That sounds awesome, especially if the ghost's name is Philip.
Yeah.
Yeah, we've talked about that idea in the past. You told me before, and I think it's a great idea, and I hope you do it because that would be amazing. I think anyone would travel from around the country to visit it.
Yeah, right. It doesn't. I think the key is to a venture like that, or even calling it a venture is weird. But the key to doing something like that is not setting out to we're gonna make hand over fist. I think it's like, hey, look, if we break even on each show, or like that bookstore idea, like wonderful. I think that it's too what's the right word, like niche or something, like Grand Guignol horror theater. But maybe I'm wrong, because the genre, as you know, is like fucking it's everywhere.
Now's the right time.
Yeah, maybe that would get more like a wider interest than I even realized. But that's something I just gotta fucking do already, man. And the one that bothers me the most. There's a theater in Berkeley, Michigan, and Berkeley is this awesome town where my brother lives. This awesome old theater, dude, that next to it is a Rite Aid, and the Rite Aid bought the theater just for the storage for Rite Aid. So there's this amazing facade of this like amazing marquee, and you know what? All that's in there is like toilet paper and like cotton balls. It's like, come on, dude.
You know what you gotta do? You gotta buy Rite Aid.
I know. So the next goal after inspection was to buy Rite Aid.
That was the plan the whole time.
Yes.
Odd, but everybody has a kink.
Yeah.
Okay, let's see. I have no other questions for you, man. What's next? What's coming out next? The Mallory book?
Yeah, and I have to do like a fairly significant rewrite of it still.
Okay.
So what happened was I turned it in like 3.5 weeks ago, and it was one of those moments where, and I'm sure you know this moment, where you're not exactly sure. Like you could be really close, or maybe you have a lot of work to do. You're just not sure,
Yeah.
You've already gone through it 3 or 4 times, that kind of thing. I handed it in just kind of hoping like maybe it's a little more together than I realized. But I knew either way that I would have about 3 weeks before I got the notes back. And I was like, fuck it, I'm writing a new book. And I started it, and I just finished it today, man. That's book 30 for me.
Oh, shit.
Yep, that's 30 books in 15 years, because I had my big breakthrough 15 years ago. I wrote my first one. And I feel unbelievable. It's like 65,000 words. I love it. I finished it today, but then Monday I will actually do those notes for Mallory. But so the next, only because we've been talking about readings and theater.
Yeah.
The next reading would definitely be Mallory. Although Wowtown, we talk about, like you said, what about stories that are, first of all, what about stories that are not mine? What about stories that are not, a book being released? But also, why not do like the Blackmail Wheel reading right now again? Why not do Inspection somewhere else right now? Like, we don't have to keep them to like this sort of release date or, oh, you did your tour, now you never do it again.
That's how books die, man. You get caught in this scam that publishers have created that, we can only do anything that's brand new.
Yeah,
like
exactly.
I can't tell you how many like magazines and websites I write for, and I want to review a book, but they go, "Wait, this came out 2 years ago. We can't review this. Why the fuck not? It's still good."
And especially books more than anything. And I wrote something on Twitter like to Barbara Crampton actually, because someone was a dick to her on there and talking about like you're living off nostalgia or something, right?
I saw that.
And it was super weird, and she reacted amazingly, and everyone that saw that was like, "Fuck you, idiot!" But I went on there and like wrote her this thing about how to me there isn't such thing as a release date. Really, it's like you just said, it's a novel, it's out. Like, what's the difference if I review it now or if does it have to be in the first week it comes out? Like, why? Like, was there like the book you're bringing up? Is it like at the top of the news cycle or something? Like. No, almost no book is, right?
Yeah.
Unless it's like a presidential biography or something. So it's like, what does it matter when you review it? I completely agree. And I need to take that philosophy and apply that to the readings too. Why don't you just go do a Bird Box reading right now?
Yeah,
that sounds fun.
If you have a baby, you're not going to throw the baby away after it becomes like a year old. You have to keep that thing. You're stuck with it. You might as well make it look nice.
Yes.
I mean, some people throw babies away, but I mean, I don't think we're going to do that.
Nope, I aren't going to do it.
That'd be a good reading, though. No, it wouldn't. That's it for the episode. Did you want to plug like any social media shit?
I mean, no. I'm just
cool. Just
good.
Google Josh Malerman. You'll find stuff about him. On the internet. All right. Well, that's all the episode. Thanks.
Hey, I want to say something. Thanks for this, because I haven't done like an interview that was strictly about the readings. Like I've done, about Inspection, and then maybe someone mentions the reading. I saw the photo online. So to actually have this like focused, brief but focused conversation about it, like it's really got my wheels turning, man. Thanks for doing this.
Well, thanks for coming on the show.
Yeah. Yep. Okay. Yeah.
Goodbye, audience.
Bye, audience.
Thank you for listening to Ghoulish. Did you like what you just heard? Want to listen to these episodes daily instead of weekly? Well, you are in luck, Daddy-O, because over on Patreon we've announced a new stretch goal. Once we begin making 1,000 bones a month, we will begin releasing Ghoulish 5 nights a week. That's 1,000 bones, my sweet, beautiful, spooky children. Now go on over to patreon.com/PMM Publishing to pledge now, today, right this second, don't wait. You can also follow this show at GhoulishPod.com and tweet at us at GhoulishPod. Please rate and review us on iTunes, and do not forget, whatever you do, live spooky, die spooky.